Hi guys, Tucker here with a new video, and this video is a video I'm actually very happy to make. We have finally class tuning. A part of the class tuning will be this Wednesday or Tuesday depending on your region, and the other part, which is the Paladin one, which is the most important one, has been live tonight or this morning if you are like EU. So it's live right now, and I'm going to talk first and foremost about the changes from Tuesday, Wednesday, and what they actually did to actually speed up the hotfix for today about paladins, because I think the outrage was a bit too much. Now, let's talk right away. Frost DK, all abilities damage reduced by 3%. I don't think it's so noticeable in PvP, it will be 3%, but instead of doing a 100k, it will be a 97k, so I don't think it's like game breaking. It will make you feel like you have to press one more button, I think, in total to actually kill someone, but it should be alright. Kind of sad that that is also the only change, unfortunately, in PvP. Again, we lack a disarm protection or something like that. And also we kind of get wrecked by paladins right now, but with the nerfs I think it will be better. Hunter Beast Mastery gets a reverse on their buff. They had like a 10% buff on the kill command, now it got reversed, which is probably a good thing. Beast Mastery is still S tier. I might make a tier list very soon for Soul Shuffle, but I have to see how the changes are for Paladins. I made a prediction. I'm kind of wrong on a lot of things. Paladins were S+, even S++, but now with the nerfs, I don't think they are S+ anymore. Maybe they are just S or A, but we'll see. Marksmanship Hunter, all ability and pet damage reduced by 4%. That is quite noticeable because, again, MM, they are really strong, but they have to be a bit free from the focus to do the maximum damage possible. Even when focused, you can still do rapid fire into a big kill shot if you get a proc, and that generally can chunk a lot of HP. Your pet doing a bit less damage is going to be not that noticeable, but I think all abilities, if you're, again, it's a 3% or 4%, it's not that big. You will not notice it in game. But I think MM is more noticeable since you are very much doing a lot of damage on the whole part of the game and not only while you're in Pillar of Frost, like for example Frost Decay. So I think that's more or less a big nerf, but not that big as well. I think that will not change their placement in the tier list. Survival Hunter gets a 10% nerf, but only for PvE. So I think that's going to be very good for survival. I think survival is actually very good. They just have struggles with surviving, but will get better eventually down the line. Okay, so they actually nerfed also Warlock, and they started to touch on Grimoire Sacrifice, which I think is a good way to balance it, because right now Affliction Warlock, for sure Affliction Warlock are never playing with pet out, because Grimoire Sacrifice is like 10% of their damage, 15% of their damage sometimes. Sometimes a bit lower depending, but it has a lot of power through it, and they don't want to be the choice by default for Affliction and Destruction Warlock, and they're trying to nerf it. I don't know if it's going to change anything. I still think Affliction Warlock will still play with Grimoire Sacrifice, but it would be fun to to actually have Affliction Warlock having a pet again. That has been a long time. I don't know if it's since Legion, even before that, I think. Like I don't quite remember when I had a pet as an Affliction Warlock. That's how long it was. So they nerf 15% Grimoire Sacrifice, plus also the modifiers on Raffle, Minion, and Demonic Inspiration by 5%. So a total of 35% actually. If you so 10% here, 15. Excuse me, 25%. I cannot even count anymore, guys. I just woke up. I'm still sick. I didn't really want to make a video today, but I thought like this video is hype, man. Retribution Paladin being nerfed, but anyways. Affliction Warlock got also a nerf on all their abilities by 2%. That is not going to be very noticeable. What I do not like is Dark Glare damage reduced by 20%. They finally gave us a CD to work with, and right now they get reduced by 20%. So back to maybe not play with Dark Glare, or maybe just not boost Dark Glare through the talents and just have the base form. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a bit too much. I don't know what they want from Affliction Warlock to be competitive in PvP, because again, those nerfs are going to kind of kill the single target pressure that you could have had the past days. But anyways, unfortunate for Affliction Warlocks. Now they got also a PvE nerf on Demonic Strength. Again, Demonic Strength is a 150% damage on Fellstorm in PvP, so this will not change anything. But Dreadbite, damage reduced by 10% is actually a very big nerf. I think they nerfed it a lot, like quite a lot these days. Like not these days, but past patches. And that might actually give you a little bit less pressure outside of Tyrant. I don't know if it's going to be any different, like tier list wise, because Tyrant is actually doing a lot of damage. They still have bugs, so that's probably the only problem for Demonology Warlock right now. But yeah, that's a nerf. Unfortunately, they get caught in the PvE crossfire. They kind of deserve also a nerf in PvP, but I don't think Dreadbite is the way to nerf Demonology in PvP at least. So they finally nerfed Retribution Paladin, and I'm going to talk first and foremost about the update, which is due to overwhelming feedback. The Retribution Paladin changes in the above nodes are going to be pushed live shortly, and that's actually a very good thing. They actually listen to the community, and it's also a lot harder to actually change things for Retribution Paladin in comparison with Demonology Warlock, because they buffed Tyrant and they nerfed Tyrant because they knew that if something was wrong, it was Tyrant. While Retribution Paladin was a complete rework, so they have to really get more in-depth stats and PvP stats and PvP something to actually get the statistics for nerfs. Now, I think they could have probably disabled solo shuffle. People won like 1000 CR after the rework, which is quite absurd, but whatever, it is what it is. I actually stopped playing with Retribution Paladin once I felt that it was so OP, because I didn't want to limit my success because of a rework that was busted, but whatever. So let's start right away with Crusader's Reprieve, healing reduced by 50% in PvP combat. That is the passive healing from Crusading Strikes and Templar Strikes, going from 3% to 1.5%. Again, a nerf to passive healing, passive survivability, which is a good thing, guys. You don't want to have passive survivability all across the board. You want actually active defensives, like for example Shield of Vengeance, or Divine Protection, or for example Astra Shift as a Elemental Shaman, or whatever, like something like that. You don't want to have like passive healing because you are doing your rotation. That's quite sad. Like for example Bloodthirst for Fury Warrior, if they actually put some power off of it and put more power into something else, I think it would be better for Fury Warriors as well, but whatever. That's also a nerf for Holy Paladins, so you are in the crossfire again, and again. So I don't know how you can actually get buffs without breaking the game, I guess. But whatever. Protection Paladin, Judgment of Light, healing reduced by 35%. The same for Retribution Paladin. That is whenever you're doing a judgment, you get like a proc on the enemy, and whenever you're like striking the enemy, you will get healed. So that is also nerfed, again, passive healing. And the bigger nerfs are Inquisitor's Ire, effectiveness reduced by 40%. So that is the stacking on Divided Storm to do big damage on Divided Storm whenever you have like Imperial Legacy. That is a great nerf. Fading Light actually got nerfed by 75%. Now I wonder if it's possible to play without it, because I feel like right now Fading Light is strong. But that's like the passive, like I have to see again, like you're going to see, because I prefer to talk with something very interactive, so you can actually see what has changed. So this is the Fading Light. So this is nerfed by 75%. So I guess Blessing of Dawn and Blessing of Dusk is going to get nerfed. So that's again passive shielding, passive survivability, and passive damage. So what I think people will just play Seal of Order. If it's only Fading Light getting nerfed. You can play Seal of Order. I think it's probably better now. You at least don't get a nerf on Blessing of Dawn. I don't know how it works, Fading Light, but because they save 75% all across the board for Fading Light, so I guess it's also Blazing of Dawn and Dusk. So I guess people will just play Seal of Order now, or just scrap the whole talent and go for Vengeful Wrath, which is actually a very good thing with the build that I'm actually making on my guide. So if you want to check my guide, you can check it, and that will also give you a response on how to play Retribution Paladin after the nerfs, because I'm playing a build which is not going to be affected by it. So Justicar's Vengeance now deals 15% additional damage to stunned targets in PvP combat. It was 25%. So this is a nerf by 10%. Of course, it is going to limit the burst potential, but overall, your targets are not always stunned, so it's not going to change too much. But the passive healing, again, from Justicar's Vengeance is going to be reduced by 50%. So instead of 6% maximum health, it's going to be 3% maximum health. That's a big nerf for survivability. Again, I don't know how big it can be. Blessing of Dawn effectiveness reduced by 25% for Retribution Paladin. So it's kind of weird how they worded Fading Light and Blessing of Dawn. So I guess maybe Fading Light, it's only the defensive proportion. So instead of like 20% shield, it will be 5% shield. So yeah, I wonder how it's going to work. Divine Arbiter direct damage reduced by 25%. So that is this talent. So you're doing 375% of attack, like your attack power after 25 stacks. And after the notch, you're coupling it with Divine Ire and the Empyrean Legacy. So that would be like a very big one shot, sometimes over 300k, sometimes over 400k, depending if you're critting or not. It does a lot of damage. Now it's nerfed by 25%. Vanguard of Justice effectiveness reduced by 25%. So that's also a very good nerf. This will become a 15% increased damage. I think it's not enough, but it could easily be 10% and still be played. That's how strong it is. But right now it's 20%. Now it's going to be 15%, and the damage again will be reduced all across the board. So I think it's a good thing. Imperial Legacy increases the damage of Divine Storm by 15% instead of 25%. Again, a nerf to the one-shot potential of Imperial Legacy, and Inquisitor's Ire now also nerfed by 40% again, like I said. It's going to be giving you less one-shots possible. I think the overall damage will still be very high, but it was already high since the beginning of Dragonflight. So I don't think it's like something impressive. Now they do survive, so I think they're still S tier, but they're not like over the top S tier. Like they're not S+, like the only spec viable in the game. That's not going to happen anymore. Luminescence is now nerfed by 2%, so I wonder if you're going to play that again. I think this talent is, the PvP talent is now dead. Pretty dead, actually. 2% is nothing. 4% was already nothing, but I thought like 4% all across the board, all across the whole team can be nice. But right now it's 2%, so why not play with Judgment of the Pure, for example? So I think Judgment of the Pure will play like most games with maybe Sank, and in general it's going to be the same. Lawbringer now deals 2% of maximum health instead of 4%. That was actually very strong because you had like a lot of judgment possibilities, so your Lawbringer would have more uptime in comparison with previous patches. But 2% now, again, I think the PvP talent is quite dead now. Again, I don't know why they make this PvP talent if it's going to be killed anyways. You could just replace it with something else, but whatever. And now an issue that costs Avenging Wrath 75% PvP multiplier to not function for Retribution Paladin. So the modifier for Avenging Wrath was 20%. Now it's going to be a 15%. So it's going to be 15% increased damage and healing. So again, a nerf to the one-shot potential. And my overall thought behind this is people are going to jump away from Justicar Vengeance and go into the final verdict build that I've made on my guide. So again, if you want to check my guide, like Retribution Paladin guide, I talk about different builds, and there's still a final reckoning build that you can play and pretty much like kill someone from afar, or you can play execution sentence, which is now still not like it was nerfed, but it's not like incredibly nerfed to the point where you won't play execution sentence. I really like execution sentence. Does a lot of damage. It's also ranged 30 yards, by the way, and in general you can blast someone from afar. The build that I created was the 20-yard build, and I already preferred that in comparison with Justicar's Vengeance, which was a melee build. I really, really like it. So please be sure to check the Retribution PvP guide. I think the PvP rounds will be changed though. So I think instead of Luminescence, it will be Judgment of the Pure, probably, depending if you're playing versus a warlock or not. If it's an affliction warlock, do not play that. You're going to kill you. You can also play with Blessing of Sanctuary and also Blessing of Spell Warding. So instead of Blessing of Protection, you will have some cast defensives. Or if that's not the case, you can always play Vengeance Aura for more crit, or you can play Aura of Reckoning to get more damage on your melee and get a wings proc on that. But there is a few options, but I think Luminescence and Lawbringer is kind of dead, and there is no reason to play it anymore. So overall, I think they nerfed it correctly. I think they kind of hit on survivability a bit too hard, but I think it's normal. Retribution Paladin was always a kill target, and now all of a sudden you don't want to kill Retribution Paladin because it's too tanky. And in general, I'm okay with those nerfs, but I think it would be better that Divine Arbiter was actually nerfed by 50%. That would be more fair, in my opinion. It's going to be still strong, just too strong, because instead of doing a 75k Divine Arbiter, it's going to be 25% less. So basically, if I'm calculating correctly, 60ks, maybe 55ks, depending on versatility and such. Vanguard of Justice, I think 25% is a bit too, like, not enough. I think even 30%, like a 40% or something like that, would be more fair. Empyrean Legacy, I think it's a talent which is... you could maybe play without it now. I don't know. We will have to do testings, but in general, good changes. I think people will be happy. I will be again queuing some soul shuffles, because I was stopping queuing with soul shuffle because it was not fun facing 3 Retribution Paladins or 2 Retribution Paladins, or even playing my own Retribution Paladin. It was fun like for one day, and then I thought, like, look, if I'm getting like 3k with my Retribution Paladin, where is the achievement? People will just say that I abused the heck out of it, and I prefer to not do that. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you love those kinds of content, and we will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.